Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, we're going to take advantage of the rotisserie right off the bat. As you can see, I've got Ruby up at an angle, and we're going to do some leading today. So, you guys know I put a new quarter panel on, and I included the sail panel all the way up to the roof panel. So there's a little kind of a channel that the factory had there they filled full of lead. So that's what we're going to do as well. I've been putting it off. I did a little bit of leading on the car here and there and kind of some flat areas. But as you know, lead is heavy and gravity is, kind of a pain in the butt. So I was waiting till the car went on the rotisserie. So, I had a little bit better shot of, floating it in there without all running all over the place. So let's go ahead and jump in real quick and take a look at kind of way I'm thinking. We're going to be working way up there. I'll have to stand on a ladder. Obviously, the car is so tall on its side, there's just no other way. And then I think we'll adjust the angle as we go. We'll get a little bit done, then we'll adjust it and just try to make it easy on me. So let's grab the camera and take a look up there and see what we got going on. All right, guys, it's a hot one today. It's gonna be 102 and it's already 90 degrees in the shop, but hey, it's a good day to do some leading, right? So as you guys can see, I've got a little torpedo level up there, and I've got the car rotated till that bubble's pretty good, and that should help keep it in the channel a lot easier than trying to do that on that, I don't know what that was, 70 degrees, 80 degrees. So I knew I would have used a lot more lead on that deal. So I've got the car rotated. Unfortunately, my indexing wheel over here, the hole kind of missed where I needed to be. I just threw a little clamp on each side. I'll be leaning on the car. I didn't want it to rotate and kick me off. So it's looking pretty good. Now, the last video you guys saw me put it on the rotisserie, and it wasn't balanced really good. Actually, a couple of you guys noticed that it was bottom heavy. And I did that on purpose because I was afraid it was going to get away from me working by myself. I've since adjusted everything, so it's actually, I think, possibly a little top heavy. Dave came over this morning and we did some experimenting with it, just kind of rotating it around with two of us here. And I have it on full vertical, or 90 degrees, as you can see right here, and everything worked out really good. Actually did it inside the shop, just enough clearance to get that done. We could have jacked it up and put it all the way upside down if we wanted to, but there's really no need for that. So yeah, let me get the supplies out. And like I mentioned, I've only done a tiny amount of leading, and so I may not be the greatest at it, but we're gonna get it done either way. All right, we're gonna be using a couple of propane torches today. Some guys say, well, they put out moisture, propane has water in it, and that causes the sheet metal to rust. Most of the time, the rust is coming from using your flux. Your flux is basically etching its acid, and it's etching the steel and then makes it rust super fast. So I'm not too worried about using propane torches. You could get, MAP gas or whatever. And this is tinning flux right here, so it has ground up solder in it. I think that's no lead right there for using for water pipes. Now that's just OD stuff like you use it for, connecting copper pipes together. I've used it on the car. I've done some testing. It works great. And the good thing about using tinning flux is it has ground up material in there, so when you heat it, then it kind of tins itself to the bare sheet metal, and then when you start melting your lead on there, you've already got that tin, just like tinning wires before you solder them together. And then of course, wire brush, we have some lead here. I got a stir stick, I'll grab some more. I don't have one of those little fancy paddles or any of that butter or anything, but I haven't needed it so far, so I think this will work good. And then this right here is a lead file, and this was my father. And I don't ever remember him letting anything in, but it is adjustable. You can put a curve on there. It's pretty darn sharp on this side. I just flipped the blade over. So what the idea is for us when we're done, to have it look like this when we're done. That's factory work right there. I haven't touched it. The paint was just stripped off of it when it got dipped. So we're gonna do, on the other side, we're gonna do this, and then we gotta go around the corner and do inside there. So, but we need to do it on that side. So let's go take a look at that real quick. You can tell I flattened out the car, leveled it out so I could do the cleaning and get everything prepped and ready to go instead of up on a ladder. That way we're up there just trying to let it in. So they hit this thing pretty good with a hammer right here. I think it was just too tall, and they just ding, 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 knocked it down and filled it full of lead. So I'm not going to try to change perfection. They were pretty good at it back then. And you could still see some lead left when I ground this off to get all this cleaned up to tack it together. So it's been MIG welded down through here, really tight, I shouldn't have a problem with anything. They did braze this a little bit right here. I don't think I'm going to do any TIG brazing right there. I think I'm just going to solder right over the top because I did MIG weld down inside there. And I was very careful when I put this together. So hopefully, our lead is only out to like this. So it's just going to feather out to nothing on each side and fill this, it's a pretty good groove there. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this sanded up, wire wheeled, and ready to start soldering it. Okay, I ran a DA over this whole area just to clean it up really nice. And of course we're using lead, so you have to be careful. If you're creating dust with it, you have to wear a good respirator. And you don't want to get it on your clothes and take it into the house, especially if you have small children. So be careful with lead. Once we get this leaded in, and I'm using that lead file on it, it's taking big chunks, so it's not very dangerous. But always sweep it up when you're done and dispose of it properly. So I got it sanded well. I don't know how high up I'm going to go. I can see where the old lead came all the way down to here and up here. So I don't want to do it twice. So I'm probably going to go too far when I'm leading this in. If we have to put some filler on it later, that's not that big a deal. At the factory, this was their filler. So they wanted to get it perfect. Spray some sealer on here, put paint on it, and ship it, right? So we're just going to try to get this filled in the best we can, and later if we have to, after the epoxy's on, we can put some filler over this area. We probably will. So I got it DA'd real nice. Now I need to get down inside here with a wire wheel just to get it as clean as possible, so we give so the flux doesn't have to work super hard trying to clean any of this stuff out of here. So I'm just going to hit all this area with a little small wheel. And I'm going to go through and get every little nook and cranny, use whatever I have in my drawer over there to get this all nice and clean. And then I think we'll get it cleaned up and get it rotated and start thinking about getting some lead on here. All right, guys, sorry for the camera angles and everything else, but I did the best I could being way up here. So you can see here I've got an interesting setup just to get this going. So I'm going to get this tinning flux on here real quick. I'm going to go up a little higher. It's better to go too far and clean it up later than not have it far enough and then not having it stick. So I'm going to try to brush this on super thin. We've got this really clean here. And what I want to do is this area right here, and I think we're going to re-level the car so the other area is more flat. So we're just going to kind of concentrate on this area right here, get it leaded, and then move down. So I'm kind of standing on a ladder, stooped over. So let me get this leaded up, or fluxed, and then we'll get the torch going. Okay, I've got some paper towels stuffed up underneath here on the other side, so if that flux runs through, it doesn't drip all over the place everywhere else. Hopefully, I don't catch them on fire. Let's go ahead and melt this in here. All right, start putting some lead down. Looks like it a little. I need to tilt the car a little bit more flatter so I can get it up here. I want to watch my heat, obviously. Doesn't want to be sticking up there. Get a little too hot, maybe. Yeah, let it cool a second. All right, I'm gonna level the car out a little bit more, and then we'll get back at it. Okay, let's try again here. I'm going to use a little softer flame this time. I think I had too much heat going. There we go. A little better. It's kind of like body filler. You just blob it on. You got to file it off later. Trying to get this spot built up a little bit. Just gonna make sure I don't get it too hot so it runs all away. Problem with this lead is it looks like it's not melted, but it is actually melted underneath. There we go. Okay. Let's let that cool a second. See if I can't paddle this a little. My main goal would be to get it to look like the factory stuff, but I know I can't do that. I'm not skilled enough for that. What I really want is to fill this big trench up, and I can do the rest with body filler, a little thinner. But ideally, I would really like to do as good as they did, but obviously those guys did it every day, all day. All right, I'm going to mess with this some more. I'm not going to bore you with me doing this, but I'm just going to kind of try to paddle this where I want it carefully without having it all run all over the place. And then I'll bring you back here when we have a little bit of success, all right? All right, guys, of course, as soon as I turn the cameras off, I start doing better. I had the torch up way too high. I should have done a much softer, smaller flame. As you can see, I've got pretty good filling going on here. I'm going to add some more up here, or down here rather. Just kind of dribble it on there. Let me get this base a little warmer so it accepts it. There we go. And we're just going to start dripping this in here. I don't even know if I have enough lead. So I'm just kind of daubing this on here and then flowing it out. It gives me a little more control. You can see as soon as it wets out, you know it's down in there like it's supposed to be. All right, I'm going to spend some more time filling this up, and then we'll bring you back when we're starting to paddle it, all right? All right, let's see if we can paddle this a little bit. It's just hard to tell when it's ready to be paddled. It just sits there and then it runs off all of a sudden. So it's 108 today. It's not the best day to be doing this. I've got a car cover or a car fender cover up here. Keep me from sweating all over the quarter panel I'm leaning on right now. That's all I need is a bunch of salty water dripping all over this car. Okay guys, just like body filler, I think I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. I'm going to go ahead and realign the car and try to do a little bit more of this, and then we'll roll the car down and check it out and see if we can do some filing. I don't think I have enough lead. I underestimated how much lead I was going to need, so we're going to do what we can until my fingers start burning from hanging on to a little short piece of lead, and then we'll start filing. Okay. Got most of this done. Not beautiful, but it's on there, and that's what matters. I'm quite sure I'm going to have to use body filler over the top of this. I don't want to keep trying to pile lead on there and be perfect. I'm a lot better with body filler than lead, I can tell you that much. But it is on there, and I ran out of lead, but luckily Dave had some in stock, so I ran over there to his place real quick and grabbed up what he had, and so we can keep on going. So I think what I want to do is get this around the corner here, get all the leading done, and then we'll get into filing. So let me knock that out real quick. I got to build this up. You can see that's really low, so I got to bridge from here to here, get that built up real nice. I'm telling you, this rotisserie is coming in real handy on this leading. There's no way I could have done, I would have used 20 sticks on this because most of it would have ended up down here. But having it holding up there pretty flat really helped out a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and bust this out real quick. I'm just going to build that up, then I'm going to rotate the rotisserie around so this is kind of laying flat in here, and then we'll get that area filled up, and then I'll bring you back and we'll start filing. Okay, I got that pretty good, got it filled in there pretty nicely. I wanted to make sure that I built this up really high so we didn't have any low spots, because this edge right here would take some abuse, so I want to make sure that was lead, not body filler. But it's looking really good. So what I did was, now I want to neutralize all this flux on here, all this acid, because it will make the sheet metal rust. So I just mixed up some baking soda and some water, kind of made this paste right here so it doesn't run all over the place like that. All right, got a paper towel in there, should have thought ahead. So the spots I had leaded before, they flash rusted because of the acid in the flux kind of ate. Now the phosphoric acid that's on here that the car was dipped in, that actually protects it. So I actually have a phosphoric acid pre-treatment wipe right here. This is an old one. I'll use that when I'm done. I'll get a brand new one out. And then what we're going to do is wipe this whole area after we're done, getting it filed out and everything, just to make sure it doesn't rust later. So I'm going to go ahead and rub this stuff on, get some paper towels, wipe it off real good, and then I'll bring you back and we'll start filing on this thing and see how we did. All right, let's get to filing. Now I can tell that my lead didn't get all the way down as low as theirs did, but like I mentioned earlier, I was just more concerned about filling this big channel up, and it's on there pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and take the file, and this file is adjustable. So I'm just going to kind of crank it on here until it has kind of a curved shape, and then we're going to start filing here. So that's not bad right there. So I'm just going to start kind of of taking that off just like that. I'll grab my wire brush to make sure this thing doesn't get clogged. So the good thing about this file is it's really not going to take any of the steel off. It's only going to cut the soft lead. So you don't have to worry too. It'll scratch it up, but it's not going to dig in like it's going to do on the lead. Okay, I'm going to spend some time roughing this down, and I'll bring you back, and we'll take a look at it, and then we're going to try to fine-tune this to get it so it just feathers off on each side, and we'll see how it goes. All right, it's looking pretty good. Actually, I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. I did not get enough lead up high enough right here. So even though I said I wasn't going to, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the torch out, kind of flux this up again, and then go ahead and lay some more lead in right here. It's smoothed out, it's feathered out just right, and I kind of really like that. I don't want to have to deal with this jagged edge and feather that out and then get epoxy on it, then body filler. So I'm already hot and sweaty. I've been filing on this, guys, an hour and a half. You know, I put on way too much lead in this area, and I should have got it out here. I think the plan for something like this, what I should have done was kind of fill it, then file it, see where I'm at, and then fill all the spots I needed to, kind of like I do body filler, but I was just more concerned about getting that high enough, and I ended up having to file this area right here a lot more than I should have. So yeah, so now I'm at a spot where I should have done it earlier, kind of filled it, filed it, see where I'm at, and then fill in the other low spots. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to do that off camera real quick. I'm just going to roll that up, and then down here I'll probably add some. Right in this area, it's really low. You can see the lead all the way down into here, so I can actually feel that dive off. I may just feather that out and then use body filler right there later. It's really hard to file and sand this shape down inside this little rain drip edge right here. So let me get at least this and this area right here, and then we'll start filing again and see if we can't make this all look just like that. All right, well, I know why somebody invented plastic body filler. Holy smokes. That is a lot of filing, but it's actually looking pretty good. So I've got a little, line there. I got a little low spot there, and of course, like I told you guys, it's low right here. I'm going to feather that out till it's nice and tight right there, and know that I just have to fill from here to here. Like I said, this dips in right here, and it dipped like that before. They just piled the lead in there. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that up real nice, and then after it's epoxied, we can get some filler in there. But it's looking pretty good all over. I've tried to eyeball it the best I can, so if anything, it's a little low, but it's looking really good. Now, I still need to do up inside here, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a DA. I'm going to put a dust mask on, make sure I don't inhale any of it, and we're just going to kind of DA this area and see how it comes out. Okay, we're going to call that done. It's looking really good up along here. It's not, we're low right here, and there's some pits here and there that I'm going to have to make sure I wire wheel out, clean out really good before we spray epoxy, or just dig them out with the DA just so it's a little bit of a low spot. But everywhere else it came up pretty nice. It feels pretty good. It's a little low right here, right off the steel down into the lead on this transition. Actually, the other side has a little, I can feel a little weirdness right there too. So we're probably going to bring some body filler in here in a big swath. And the good thing about this is it's all round. It's all, roundish shape. So it's really easy to, transition from one to the other. And that's what we want, a nice smooth transition from the sail panel to the roof. But it came out really nice. I'm pretty happy. It's a lot of lead down in that big old groove, but we got it done. All right, I'm going to turn the car up on its edge a little bit, and we're going to get down inside here. I think with a roll-lock, maybe a burr tool or something, and just try to smooth that out the best we can. Okay, as you can see, it looks like I got enough in here, I hope. So what I'm going to do is take the roll-lock and just flatten this out here. This is right where the seam was, where it was tacked together, spot welded here and here. I had a plug weld right there. It was a little low, so I went ahead and got some lead in there. So we'll flatten that out so the glass sits nice and even. We'll try to clean this groove up, this edge right here. And then we're just going to simply try to, radius that in. The straight part comes, up to here, and then it starts curving right about here. So I'm going to clean this up as best I can. This I want to stay all lead, but if we put body filler in here, it's not going to be the end of the world. Okay, we're looking pretty good. Maybe even better than the factory side. I'm going to take a file, just a regular file, and try to get that rounded over to match everything so it all looks good. So I'm going to file a little bit, probably get a block and some sandpaper out, sand it up, and then I think we'll be just about done. Okay, we got that really nice. Got it all sanded up. And this line right here looks really good. It feels good, it looks good, and that edge is what I really wanted to make sure it was good. We're gonna need body filler on here, probably some on the inside, over the whole thing, but I wanted to make sure that edge was really nice. So yeah, it came out pretty nice. It's not perfect by any means. It can need body filler, but if you look at it, it looks way better than it did when we started. And I did learn a lot today. This is obviously the biggest one I've ever done. I did some leading 20 years ago, and it was a catastrophe. It was just a mess. I didn't know what I was doing. Not that I really knew what I was doing today, but what I should have done was map out how big I thought I needed, and then go beyond that, which I didn't go big enough. And then after I got it all fluxed up, I should have tinned the whole area, just got a thin coat of lead over the whole area, and then started adding the bulk to it. Instead of I was tinning a little bit in front, and then add bulk, tin, and then, because I didn't want to heat the area, I was worried about warping, but the torch is set so low, really can't warp it unless you really try. That's why I got, like this pinhole right here. I think that was from contaminants. I'm gonna dig that out real good, and we'll make sure epoxy gets down inside there. So other than that, it came out really well. I'm pretty happy. That's the biggest leading on this car that we'll need, that's for sure. So, and I'm glad to get it done. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up Adventures in Leading. It came out pretty well. I'm really happy to have the car up on the rotisserie so I could rotate it. Even though I had to work up on a ladder, I couldn't imagine trying to lead this in. This is almost vertical right here. Yeah, I would have just, the lead would have been just running down. I would have been so frustrated. So really happy, and that's why I put it off so long. I knew the car was going over rotisserie, and I knew I was going to be able to rotate it up and let gravity help me, not hurt me. And it came out pretty good. I'm kind of a perfectionist, if you guys haven't noticed, and I would have liked it to come out a little better, but all in all, we got today's goal done. Get that whole trench filled up, get it smoothed out, and we're just going to have to do a skim coat of body filler to get that thing nice and perfect. And we're gonna have to do that at other spots on the car. So, it's not the end of the world, but it is nice and solid. It feathered out really nice. And I tell you what, I'll give you props to those guys that worked the assembly line that did this all day, day after day. Obviously they were really good at it because that's all they did. But yeah, I wouldn't want to do this all day, that's for sure. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.